And welcome. David Levin here, Raise Your Inner Game today. This is Tuesday, so we're talking sports and sports parenting. Friday is for all things inner game. Tuesday's for sports. And today we're talking about Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, arguably the best NBA player ever. Really interesting documentary on him a couple years ago, Last Dance on Netflix. I enjoyed that. Maybe not the nicest, warmest person in the world. I think that's fair to say. But he did have amazing, epic focus. Everyone talks about that with him. And actually, I talk about that quite a bit too, because there's this story about him that just perfectly embodies what it takes to perform at your highest level. So when you think about Jordan, there are a couple images that come to mind. One is him leaping and flying through the air, right? It just seems impossible to be in the air that long, coming in for another epic dunk. The other is him on the sideline, chewing on a massive wad of gum. So the story is that someone asked him about that one time. So, when you're on the sideline, I see you there chewing that gum. What are you thinking about? The score, the next play, your opponent? What do you tend to think about in those moments? And his answer was, I think about chewing my gum. So, in other words, he's not thinking at all. He's just completely present and focused in the moment. That's the quote I love so much, because that statement is basically everything you need to know about peak performance. What do you think about during the game? Nothing. No worries, no doubts, no distractions, just totally present and focused on what's happening in the moment. That is perfect. And that's a huge part of why he was so great. Now, it's not the only reason he was so great, and that's an important point. I could develop killer focus like that, as could anyone who wanted to. The truth is, it's not that hard once you understand how the inner game works. So I could do that, but I'm still not going to play like Michael Jordan. What focus does is, it unleashes potential. If you have the skills and you train and train and train until you've worked them into your subconscious and your muscle memory, at that point, great focus makes you great, because it lets all that training come out. There's nothing blocking it and keeping you from being your best, performing at that level. And of course, a lack of focus does block it and keep you from being your best. But all the focus in the world is still only going to get you to the level of your skills and training. Now, having said that, the focus is still the hard part, right? We know how to train for speed and strength and skill. I'm reminded again about that amazing sequence in The Hustle movie with Adam Sandler, also on Netflix. We have an amazing amount of knowledge about how to train those external things. But with the inner game, it's still sort of a mystery to most people. Even at the highest levels, I was talking with an assistant coach for an NBA team. And when I asked him what their mental game training looked like, he said it was basically watching video and having the maturity talk. In other words, it's basically nothing. They are not training the mental game in the same sort of practical, focused way they do the other aspects of the game. And it's a real shame, to say the least, because, again, as I said, first, it's not actually that hard to do once you have a framework for doing it. And it is the most important factor in peak performance. It just is. Everyone agrees with that. But almost no one trains it in a practical, actionable way. Anyway, that, of course, is what the Sports Academy is about. You can check that out at our site if you're interested in that. But that's what I wanted to talk with you about today, that statement from Michael Jordan, because, again, it's the perfect illustration of true focus. And even just thinking about that, really thinking about that statement and what it represents, can help you develop better focus. Picture yourself in that moment, in competition, with everything going on, and all the pressure and the excitement and the energy and the noise, and you're there and you are truly not thinking about any of it. You're just noticing the feeling of your feet on the ground, your breath moving in and out, the huge wad of gum in your mouth. That's what being present feels like. It's simply noticing what's happening rather than thinking about things and being off in your head somewhere. And practicing it like that, you can do that. Picturing yourself in that state, having that experience, can have a real effect on you. It helps you understand what focus feels like and makes it easier to get yourself into that state when you need it. So that is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Be like Mike. A couple of dated references there. But what it is, what are you thinking about? Nothing. Try it for yourself. It's also something you could probably talk to your teenage athlete about. Have them think about their sensory experience during competition. In specific moments, reflect on that. What do they notice? What does it feel like? And then practice pointing their attention to it. How does the ground feel against my feet right now? What's going on with my breath? It sounds sort of odd maybe and small, but it's the opposite of that, man. It's everything. It's incredibly powerful. I hope it makes sense because, again, it's like beyond helpful. This idea is the key to peak performance. If you can get out of your head and into the moment, you will perform to the level of your training. And if you can't, you won't. It really is about that simple. Anyway, there you have it. The key to peak performance, Michael Jordan focus. If you have teenagers in sports and want to help them have that kind of focus, check out our Mental Game Starter Kit. It's a great set of resources to help you start boosting their mental game. Just go to raiseyourgame.com, scroll to the bottom. You can learn about it and register there. All free, of course. If you like what you heard on today's show, please tell your friends and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps more people find the show, get the mental game boost they need. And by the way, do join us for our Friday episodes, the Mental Game for Everyone episodes. Those are really great too. If you'd like to support the show so we can keep things ad-free, please click the Buy Me a Coffee link below, and thank you for that. Also, if you're listening to the audio podcast and you like video, we post all our episodes on YouTube as well. There's a link to that in the show notes. And then finally, we'll close with that's easy to say, Steve Prefontaine, the legendary long-distance runner, and his quote from the end of the Raise Your Game book. I always love this, which is why we always close with it. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. That's what we're talking about, right? Getting this, working on this ability to be focused and present helps your best come out. Giving anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift. That's what we're doing, folks. We're working to be our best, help our kids be their best. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And most important, the world needs as much of it as it can get. So give it the good work, and we'll see you next time.